vocal loss. And so he had to go to a doctor who said, you may not speak or whisper for 30 days, and then come back and see me. So you always have to be, you know, I mean, the thing is, as an artist, you always want to give everything you possibly can, I want to make it really great, but you also have to respect your instrument and go, okay, look, I can give this much safely, let's do that, you know. I don't know how that we got onto that, it wasn't exactly what we were asking.
For games like, especially some actual really heavy character games, I've seen a lot of times the voice actors they put like kind of a grunt track at the end with all the hits, the jumps, the little noises. Like,
yeah.
How intensive must that be when you're recording like 6 characters that are in a game where they just hit each other?
Yeah. It's great. It's really fun. You know, Nintendo is so nice to me because we do 4-hour sessions. And we do, like, if you have like 5 characters, 6 characters, we do 4 hours of Mario, 4 hours the next day of Luigi, 4 hours the next day of Waluigi, and and then the babies, and because they don't usually talk that much if we did that. But then the last is Wario. And we do our grunts and screams at the end of each day of each character. So that gives me maximum time. But still, by the time I'm finished with Wario, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go home and pat my throat. It's okay. You'll come back, But it's interesting because the guy that does Bowser, that deep all the time. I don't know how he does it, but I know for me, if anybody's a voice actor and you're doing and acting, is water. It's like I drink water after every take to keep things, fluid and lubricated to maintain and preserve your voice. I'm telling you.
They're more important than me.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why I'm standing here for most part.
He's a great moderator, isn't he?
Another little hand back there.
Yeah. Sorry. Do I have an insurance policy on my voice? I imagine Nintendo probably does. I don't, I'm used to that, But I don't. But I'm sure Nintendo probably does. Yeah, at least $10. Maybe 20. Do you have an insurance policy on your voice? Do you want to be a voice actor? Or animator? Huh? Play video games for a living? A lot of people that work at Nintendo, they were playing video games. In the old days, before the internet, you had like a help center that you could call up, and these guys, the entry level out of colleges into, being, what are they called? Game counselor, thank you, gameplay counselor. And you call up, and they tell you what to do. Of course, now you just, go look at the cheats on YouTube, etc. But it was so funny because I remember the first day when I got my NES in the mail. They say, oh, here, take an NES, play these games and learn what you're talking about and what the character does. I'm like, oh, thanks, and I plug it in, and I, and I'm like, I said, yeah, Duck Hunt was like this great game, and I take I'm playing, and Mario game, and it's like I can't, how in the old days you have to combine buttons to make him jump long, and I couldn't figure that out because it's like there's a button here and a button here, it's like come on, go, yeah, and there was no memory, so you get all the way to this point, and then you're like. Third death, or birthday, and you go, oh no, then you go back to the beginning and then die, and I was doing it. I kept thinking, I've got to be able to get this up. I just got to be able to figure this out. And I was up until like 5:30 in the morning. I guess I better go to bed now. But I didn't want to go to bed, and I lay down and I closed my eyes, and I could see Mario jump that. Because that's it. And the same thing happened the next night with Duck Hunt. It's like he did. They changed those directions like that. So I did the same thing. And then the next day, also I called the game counselor at like 9 o'clock in the morning. Hello. So how do you get over that thing?
You can still see those 1-800 numbers on the back of the NES card.
Yeah, huh?
They're still there.
You can call, but no one's gonna answer now. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
If you can make a voice, if Link had a voice, what would it be?
Well, Link would be like this. Let's go be heroic and I suggested to Mr. Miyamoto through the channels. I said, if you ever want a voice for Link, I've got it. I got a few ideas here, and I got a very polite response saying, thank you very much, but we think that Mr. Miyamoto is happy with the voice exactly as it is. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, you know? Really, it's amazing. Mr. Miyamoto, more than anybody else in the world, I'm sure, knows what works in video games. You know? I mean, he's Nintendo, Mr. Miyamoto, creating side-scrolling, 3 dimensions, you know, all these incredible characters. So I always trust that, because people also ask me, gee, don't you wish that Mario had a lot more lines? And I go, you know, no, because I know it's exactly the way it's going to be the best, because I trust all the creative people that are from, you know, from me on up, that create the games, design the games, you know, that, and then Mr. Miyamoto, who really knows what makes a great game, you know, so it's a great relationship.
Link did have that animated voice.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Excuse me, please.
Princess, like into a Mario.
I wouldn't give it a try. Yeah, the question is, was it an audition or was it just, you know, say, oh gosh, you do Mario, we want you. It was an audition. Auditions have changed so dramatically. Now you have something like Voice One, and your client uploads like a script, and then your agents all over the place, my agent in Los Angeles, AVO Talent, they downloaded that, sent out the audition, and I auditioned for it and got it. So it was just like a very wide, broad, because agents in Seattle and San Francisco and New York and Chicago were all doing that audition, so I just got very lucky. Now, gone are the days, it used to be, you know, when you were doing voiceover, there was a very small pool, and, you know, you're in there doing one session, hello, this is the way to clean your drapes, you know. Oh, that's great, you know. Do you do a Russian accent? Well, of course I do a Russian accent, anytime, you know. Oh, great, what are you doing on Wednesday? You know, come on by. There used to be that very tight-knit community. Now it's like very, very spread out. You can work for a client once, and then 3 years later, they see you again and say, oh, yeah, I'm so glad they hired you. You're so great, I love that. And you go, well, have you done anything between them? Oh, yeah, we've done 50 spots. You know, but they don't, you know, they know there's not that same thing of the small pool you just keep going back to, you know, the way it works.
I think Mario has a question.
Mario. What's that? You want to talk to Wario? Okay, I have a rough day. He's a Waluigi, my brother. No, I hate him. He's my friend. I don't know exactly how that happened. You know, it's like I don't know. I think they're just little brothers in nemesis. Yeah.
Do you have a particular favorite music soundtrack?
My favorite video game soundtrack. Well, honestly, I hear da 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 in my sleep. So, and I love that too. It's like if I'm at the dentist's office, I'm like, I don't like being here. And I you know, the there's something about that. I love that, you know? I love all the music. I think Mr. Koji Kondo is an absolute genius, you know? He knows how to make you smile when you're going through this adventure, like, all the time, you know? Do you remember Super Mario Bros. 3D? What was the one where the first time, and everybody on the screen is dancing? I mean, I'm like, aww, that was so cute. You know?
What? There also was Mario DDR too. You really want to get through.
Yeah, you did it.
Oh, me too?
Yeah, you did it.
Skip forward there. This is how you dance, right?
Yeah, baby. Oh, really? I haven't heard that before, but you know, I don't know.
One thing I'd be honest is that, considering that you've been older.
Oh, 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 oh. Oh!
I've been singed. Is it difficult as you get older to keep the enthusiasm? No, you know it's not. I absolutely love my life. I love my work. I love the characters. I find it the greatest, most profound honor and joy to do these characters, and what a gift to do what I love to do in life, you know. So I never get tired of it. You know, I'm going down to E3. I will meet many, many people and sign autographs and shake hands, and I'm going to love every second of it. Oh, no, don't worry about it. No, I'm just joking with you. I know that's fine. I am getting older. People sometimes ask, well, when are you going to retire? I'm like, why would I retire if I'm doing what I absolutely love, you know? When I'm not working, I travel. So, I mean, I have this just wonderful life of doing what I love, meeting wonderful people, working with wonderful people, playing, you know? And it's like, that's what I wish for everybody is that I hope that you all get the chance to do what you love to do in life, and encourage you to pursue your passions and build your dream by doing what gives you joy and happiness, you know, expressing the love that you have for your life, for your family, for your friends, for your art, for whatever it is, and making that the cornerstone of your life. Because one thing I will tell you is that, yes, I'm definitely getting older, you know, and here's the thing, if I ever do manage to get the discipline to write a book, I really will say this. What happens is you have youth, and then you have old age. And it's like, you in this mythology of our life, it's like, oh, I'll get to middle age, and then I'll, you know, and it's like, all of a sudden you reach 50, and it's like, well, pretty soon I'll be in middle age, and all of a sudden there I am 57, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm an old guy. What happened in middle age? I got robbed, you know. I was in middle age when I was denying that I was in middle age, you know. So you have to, you know, seize in every minute of your life. One thing I know is life is fragile. And we spend a lot of time trying to make things guaranteed. You know, oh, I'll have a car and a house and a wife and 2.5 kids and the garage that fits 4.5 cars. And I'm, you know, and you think you've got it, but life is so slippery, you don't have it. What you have is yourself, your family, your friends, your God, if you have a God, or your goddess, you have your spirituality. What you have is what you have. And you can, you're the best one to take assessment of that. And know that, wow, today could be the last day of my life. I want to live this and do exactly what I want to do. Of course, you got to sometimes still go to the dentist, not where you want to be, but just as a general thing. You know, Steve Jobs at the commencement speech or graduation speech, is that the same thing? It's something like that. His commencement speech, he said, he goes, I wake up every day and I say, what would I do? Or am I doing what I want to be doing if this were my last day? Because it could be my last day. Because I ask that every day, and one day I'm going to be right. It was. What made me too is that, you know, in my brain I thought I was never going to die. You know what I mean? I thought I'd be the guy that just like leaves when it's time to go, or, you know, I'll just go for a holiday, you know? But it's like, you know, life it has an end, a beginning, middle, and end, so enjoy it, have fun.
So the words of advice from Charles Martinet is wake up every day and say, I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna win! That's right, that's a great idea.
Although, you're speaking of that too, Mario Party has resulted in more joystick death.
Death by joystick. Yeah. Oh yeah, wasn't that fun? Orbis, yeah.
What are your thoughts on voicing that character? What are your thoughts on the Ratchet and Clank series?
You know, I really like the Ratchet and Clank things. I wish they had me back because it was really fun to do. Character looked nothing like in the end what I thought it would look like, but I got the character, the breakdown from my agent in Los Angeles again. I have one in San Francisco too, J.E. Talent, but I have AVO in Los Angeles, and they didn't have drawings, and it's really helpful when you're an actor, a cartoon actor, or that sort of thing, to see a drawing, because, you know, if you see somebody with a big jaw, you might go, oh, you might have a big voice, you know, but they just say, well, he's kind of a snob. You go, well, in that case, you know, so you do come up with completely different ideas, but when you see a drawing, it's like, oh, you can hone in on it. So I was surprised with the way that looked, but I thought, you know, the character breakdown was that he was a sweet, loving old man who takes the world, you know. And I had a friend who passed away, Sidney Walker, a wonderful wonderful actor. I always loved him because he was so generous and caring and loving. And Sidney talked like this, you know. He was an actor on stage with Laurence Olivier and was a wonderful man. You know, so I thought, oh, I'm gonna, you know, do my tribute to Sid, doing it, you know, that voice in that game. So I was really surprised, happily surprised when I got it, and loved doing that voice because Sidney was to me like this loving voice inside of everybody, just personified. You know?
When you go into a recording session with Mario, how much material do you have, like drawings, script, whatnot? And when they give you such little dialogue, how much of it is actually scripted and how much is actually
Okay, so the question is when I go into a session, how much is scripted, how much is ad-lib, are there scripts, and what kind of things and materials do I see? And it very much ranges on the game. I've recorded games from like 3 years before the game came out to 3 weeks before the game came out, you know, depending on the developer, the producer, the director, the place, and you know, sometimes they'll go, okay, wait, we need to do this sort of direction at the last minute, even though everything seems, or you know, we need to do, okay, now it's time, you know, put the icing on it. So it ranges from game to game. Sometimes I see a video and I do voice to the video. Sometimes I always have a script, and we always do scripting, and I always sit there writing down ideas so that we keep it organized. And then as we go through it, you know, we throw away the chafe and keep the good stuff. And then we do improvisation afterwards. And then two of the guys that I work with are so great. They, you know, I throw out an idea, they throw an idea back, and you know, back and forth. And so sometimes the scripts are like 4 or 5 pages long. Sometimes they're 30 pages long. It just depends so much. Yeah, and sometimes there's only picture. Sometimes I've seen these cool drawings, like a pencil drawing sort of thing. It's like, oh wow, I want one of those on my living room wall. You know, they're so cool. I mean, think of all those. I mean, I don't know if they make cells or how you make a game, but it's, you know, but it's miraculous stuff. Yeah.
What was the first ever line you ever did for Mario?
Red sweater, but we'll take that one first, I guess.
What was the first? What was the first?
What was the first line you ever did for Mario that you recorded?
What is the opening part of Mario 64? Because I think we did it in 6 sequence. What did he say? Yeah, I think that's it.
It's a me, Mario.
Mario. Yeah, I think that was the very first thing for a game.
Wow,
that I recorded.
no
Yeah.
way.
And then all of us spent about 4 hours manipulating your face.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's doubly cute because that's sort of a tribute to the system that I was working on. Because Mario in real time, the Merc thing, was originally just the head, you know. And this is how nice Nintendo is to me. You know, they do like the floating head of Mario, and I'm doing that for a few years. And then one day I arrive, and like there's Wario's head. I'm like, oh, look at that. You know, I'm at CES. Yeah, we want you to do a voice for this character. You know, and it's like so nice. All through the years, they've been so nice. And one day there was like Donkey Kong was in real time. You know, so I was doing Donkey Kong. I go to a session, and all of a sudden there's this character Waluigi in Mario Kart 64. And then all of a sudden, you know, I go up and they, oh, we want you to do Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, you know. Oh my goodness, for Partners in Time. And it's like, it's just, and Metal Mario, you know. It's like you're in the session, it's like, oh, and we'd like you to do this. It's like, what an incredible thing. It's like every time I go, it's not only great sushi, it's like, here's a present, you know. It's really cool.
We're going to try this again all together.
Sure.
The red sweater.
Red sweater, hi.
See how it works.
Created your own storyline for Mario, what would it be about?
If I created my own story about Mario, what would it be about? It would be about a princess who got kidnapped. You know, I'm not a good story-er thing like creator that way, and I have something random. You know, well, Mario would be this incredibly wonderful hero, and I mean, I love that kidnapping the princess, but I have no idea. You know, I just go, you know, the great thing about being an actor is you go in and you do the lines you're given, and then you go, ooh, and wouldn't it be fun if we did this, and wouldn't it be fun if we did that? You know, so that's your life, you know, and that's my life is taking something, making it as fun as I can, and then trying to add different dimensions to it to make it even more fun. I'd add, you know, characters and fun and play, and that's what it's all about. Yeah.
So I think we have time for one more.
That's it?
I know. But we'll have more time.
Oh, we just always.
We got a few more. I'm not the boss. So.
I'm not the boss. You're the boss. Brian, he's known as the boss. You have 20 more minutes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
okay.
in 20 minutes, then I'm going to leave. But I'll go downstairs and we're going to do autographing things then. Right after. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want me to. I mean, I'll go.
No, well, I think everyone here's tired. We all know. That's the difference between it. All right. You have more questions? Okay, we'll do that. Real quick. Okay.
Am I here autographing? Yes, from 11 to 1, I'm autographing. Then I'm being taken whisked to the airport because I've got to get down to the crew. Oh yeah, I've come back. Yeah, see, there it is. You got to come back. See? Yeah, if you don't have something today, you forget something today. Bring it tomorrow. 11 to 1. Isn't that right? 11 to 1.
I have lots of seats.
We got one right up against the back wall.
Against that back wall.
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, that's a good idea. It would be Daisy. And then Luigi could go rescue her, and then get a kiss on the nose, and little hearts would come bursting out of him. Yeah.
Yes,
Hi, Luigi.
Oh yeah, I love Daisy.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
Right in the black shirt.
You know, do I ever get the opportunity to mess with people with voice? You know, I'm so profoundly respectful of the characters. I don't ever want to mess with it, you know, and I cherish this relationship. It's like the most important relationship of my life in so many ways, you know, because it spreads into so many other beautiful relationships. So I don't do anything that would compromise the character. But I did one time, there was a British film crew, and they said, we're going to go in there, and we want you to order a burger as Mario. And I said, you know, oh, can I get the hamburger? You know, and I don't know if it was funny or not, but I felt like, well, this is kind of stretching it, you know. But I think it worked. I think people enjoyed that interview. But I don't do it personally, you know. You know, I used to go into a, and I just don't do it.
There's no telemarketers with really weird, like, straight time stories. Like, how the last time he didn't buy it, he was so happy.
Yeah, he's so happy.
Yeah. But, in the Mario hat.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Pikachu! That's Mario's favorite Pokemon. There he is, Pikachu! The first time I met the Pikachu, I said, hello, I'm Mario. What's your name? He said, Pikachu. I said, oh, Gesundheit. My name's Mario. What's your name? Pikachu! Oh, my goodness, you must have allergies. Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu! Oh, you're Pikachu! And we've been friends ever since.
Oh my god, this is cool.
Who would I do if I could portray somebody else's character? Any character. Wow. I've never thought about that. I'm so happy doing what I do, you know? Who would it be? You know, I wish I had the talent of Mel Blanc. You know, that man to me was like the most incredible, you know, because he's the grandfather of it all and created all these voices that other people, you know, still to me, if somebody says to me, oh, we want a character, you know, this little dweebish, I go like that, you know, and I know who that belongs to. That was him, you know. So it was rather than a particular character, I wish I had that level of talent because it's really stunning. What a guy, you know. Did you ever see that poster when he passed away?
Mm-hmm.
It was all the characters standing in front of the Warner Brothers logo, and they all had their hats off in there, you know, a moment's silence. It was like, oh, how appropriate, you know.
Aww.
I found a lot of times too with the voice actor community. It seems really tight knit.
Yeah.
You've got like Rob Paulson, you've got John DiMaggio, you've got like Jim Cummings, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard the Rob Paulson's podcast.
No.
Oh, it's really quite good.
Really?
But yes, just talk, you and I.
Yeah.
Do you find that I think a lot of that connects to the fact too that you are the voice of childhood, like you were saying, like there are kids in the audience right now, there are us grown-ups in
Ask him to sign
that
that.
you have been with this like huge journey on. Of
Yeah.
that the happy memories are
That's great.
shouting at us from the
I wonder if you can sign my old Game Boy actually.
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's so
Forgot to
cool.
charge
You know,
my
I
battery.
was, you know, after doing it for 20 some odd years, you have parents coming and saying, I played your games all, and now my kids are playing, and I get to play with my kids, and that's always touching to me. And I was in Germany at meeting some troops and doing autographs with troops, and this guy was like, in uniform, and he's like, he's waiting, and I finish up, and he goes, I said, hi, and he comes over and says, well, sir, I just want to say, sir, your grandkids must be very proud of you, sir. And I was like 50 years old. I said, I'm only 50 years old. I can't be a grandfather. He goes, well, so my dad's 48 and he has 3 grandkids by me alone. Whoa, boy. I realized, I'm this middle age. I'm old. But, it is great. It's like a huge part of the honor of it is to make an impact on people's lives. I'm so glad Mario is such a nice person and such a great character. I mean, I love all these other actors that I meet at shows and things that, the guy that does Halo, Steve, I can't remember his last name, but, great. Master Chief. Steve Downs. You get old, you start forgetting your own name. Steve Downs, a terrific guy. I love his story too. That he's, he's a voice actor. He just does voice. He has a radio show. He's doing all this stuff. One day he gets this job. He goes and does this animation, for a video game. And he's down in Florida at his brother's house, and the nephew is playing the game with his pals. And he goes over and goes, hey, what is that game there? I said, well, this is, I think I did a voice on that game. And oh yeah, right. What voice? Master Sergeant, Master somebody. And he's like, and like 15 minutes later, there was a line around the block of people like, you're kidding me? Is that you really? Oh my God! So it's amazing. It's such a gift to do what you love to do, and then to get recognition for it. It's really cool. So, I always say thank you. It's always because of people that love the game, because of you that I get to be here, and so thanks. I'm glad you love. Now, that's a good question. As a producer proponent of video games, do I play with my family, and do I helped raise 3 girls, and we used to play Mario Kart a lot. And then one of my friends had I call him my nephew. He lives in Japan. He's like 6 years old, comes over and just trounces me in any game he plays. He like to taunt me in Mario Kart. He goes, oh, you can do it this time. You can do it. You can catch me. And then, then I'm off playing. Oh, you got me again. And I do play the games. I'm not very good at them, but I really enjoy. When I see the game for the first time and I play to the levels that I can get to, I have so much fun. It's amazing. I love Mario games. I can't wait for E3 to find out what's coming up next.
We'll have a speculation panel about it while you're on your way over.
That's right. What's my favorite console?
Ooh.
Well, I really love the Wii U, to tell you the truth, because I love the games that you can play with that. I love Luigi's Haunted Mansion. I love that new aspect of
the dark
being able to be the person that's hiding. I really enjoy that. I think the Wii is an amazing console. That it will take time before people realize the incredible potential of it, and then it will be like, oh my goodness, I always have such a huge faith in Nintendo because the keel is deep in the water, and the aim is the same place. It's making great games. So any platform that's made, or any game that's made, is not to like, oh wow, look what we can do. Wow, it's to make that great game. It's like, oh, we'll make a platform in 3D, because then we can make a great game. And so it's the great game idea is first, and the platform comes to support that. So anytime there's a new platform, I'm excited by it. The question was, am I strictly Nintendo, or am I a fan of who? There's other console? Nintendo games, yeah. And I'm not very good at Zelda games, but I always wanted to introduce, what's the name? What's that game where the zombies come out and, you know, and rip people's flesh off?
What?
The one that came out. Oh boy.
Dead Island?
Oh boy.
Dead Space?
You mean there's more than one zombie game?
Well,
I did not know that. It's like a Mario game, but completely different. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Because he gets to come back with several lives.
Oh, yeah, see? It's exactly the same. Sorry, I forgot the question. Oh, consoles. Yeah, that's right, consoles. Yeah.
I think Xbox had one. So our next, yeah. Beta. Yeah.
I heard you talking earlier about Metal Mario.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you know how they do that voice? Like, because it almost sounds like someone talking into a spinning fan or something.
You know, I don't know what they do, but I'll tell you, you know, it is amazing what the engineers, the audio engineers can do. I do it like a slightly deeper pitched voice, you know, and just a more of a gentle projection like that, and so then they take that and they synthesize it and or whatever they do to it, you know. But I'm like, yahoo! I love that character too. It looks so cool.
We've got one right around the side.
Yeah. Wow, did I always want to be a voiceover actor, or is it something that just happened? That's a great question, because I was in college studying political science with a theory emphasis at UC Berkeley with the intention of going to law school afterwards and then heading into diplomacy so I could live overseas again, because I lived in Spain and France and England, you know, or Spain and France growing up. And I'm fundamentally a bit of a brat. I couldn't get... there was one professor that was brilliant, you know, on political theory, and he'd say, you know, well, what is the nature of man? Because the idea is, everyone has an idea of the nature of what mankind is. You know, the Hobbesian sort of man that's evil and vicious and you know, needs laws and government to shut them down from being bad, you know, or the sort of Lockean things that man is basically good and society is there to help with that structure. And I'm like, and his final exam was, you know, what is the nature of man according to Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, you know, Voltaire, and you know, whoever else. And question one. Question two, what is your idea of the nature of man? And it's the first time in my academic life I'd ever been asked to think. And I'm like, holy cow, you know, you got a 3-hour final or a 2-hour final, you spend like 15 minutes writing down what everybody else thinks, and then spend the rest, another hour and 45 minutes writing down what I felt, you know? And I thought, that's the professor I want, that's what I'm going to write my thesis for, I'm going to go straight on into that, that's how I'm going to do it. Went back to UC Berkeley, my final 2 quarters to go, and couldn't get a single class with him. And the TA said, I'm sorry, I can't get you in this class. I said, it's my major, it's my thesis, I'm going to write my thesis for him, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. And so I went, okay, if I can't have what I want, I quit. And so I walked out the door of Sadler Gates thinking I'd go back, you know. And a friend of mine at a junior college said, well, why don't you come and take an acting class from me? And I said, there is no way I could ever take an acting class from anybody. There's no way I could ever stand in front of people and speak, you know. And he goes, no, you can do it. Just come take acting. I said, there's no way, I can't do it. He goes, no, come on, do it. And I don't know why. I do know why. He said, if you come and take an acting class, we can have lunch in the student thing where they have student chess, and so we have a great lunch, and then we'll go to class. And I said, food? Food? You know. So I did it, and I remember the first time. And this is a long story, but I have a quick answer for what you say, but I don't do quick answers. So I get up to do my first monologue, which is from the Spoon River anthology, perfect thing for young actors. It's like people that all died in this town, and they get up, they come back from the dead. Zombies! You know, to say, well, I died like this, you know, and I'm like character Bob, you know, oh, my name's Bob, and I died the most horrible death, you know, it's classic stuff that you can ham up and everything. And I like wait until I'm the last possible actor, last possible student. There's nobody else to go. I'm like up against the wall, sweating like crazy, and I, you know, Charles, you're up, you know, and I'm like you know, Luigi, you know, and I get up there and I'm shaking like this, and I'm like, oh gosh, my right leg is shaking. I better put my weight on it. And I put my weight on that one, and it's like that. And the left one goes, oh gosh, okay. Spread your legs apart a little bit wider, and put your weight evenly. That's it, you got it, you know. And I do this monologue, and I'm like sweating, and I'm doing, and at the end it's like everyone's, yay! And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I lived through that. And I go and sit down, and people are like, wow, you're the only person that wasn't nervous. I'm like, eh? It was amazing. You've got talent, and I'm like, oh, right. I've got the talent, So, I just kept doing monologues and then scenes and then things like that, and all of a sudden, I just started getting less nervous and started enjoying more. And the school auditioned for Midsummer Night's Dream, and I wanted to be Oberon, the lead, the king of the fairies. And in college things you watch everybody else audition. So I watched everybody else audition, and I'm still thinking I'm going back and be a lawyer and international politics stuff. And I watch everybody audition. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go do my audition now. And I go up, I'm Oberon, And I get up there and I did my Oberon speech, and I got off stage and I went, wow, I nailed it. I am going to be Oberon, yahoo! And so I'm like going around, oh yeah, Oberon, who's your Oberon, And the casting comes out 3 or 4 days later, as it is wont to do, and everybody's there, and I'm like, well, I'll just take a look and see who I'm playing, And I go up and I look, and it's not only did I not get Oberon, the king of the fairies, I didn't get a fairy, I didn't get a performer, I didn't get a spear holder, I didn't get a page turner, I got absolutely nothing. And that lit a fire in me to go okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to become an actor. And I don't know why. I took speech classes, and we did speech tournaments. We won first place in the state and the nation. And I'm like, okay, that's not good enough. I want to go. And then all of a sudden, Berkeley Rep came and auditioned for an apprenticeship program. And I went there, and all the same people were there, and I auditioned with the part of Oberon. Even though the guys that played Oberon and all those characters were also auditioning. And I got the apprenticeship. And from that, I went to acting school. I had no intention whatsoever. And so I'm doing theater for 10 years. I think, I don't like doing theater anymore. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try business. Fell completely on my face in business. And a guy calls me up and goes, hey, do you want to come and audition for a corporate video? And I said, sure. What's a corporate video? Well, it's just like acting, but it's for a corporate. Oh, really? And it's a video. Okay, well, cool. And so I went and I auditioned for it, not doing Oberon. I auditioned for it and I got the part, and it paid more in a day than I got in a week of doing the theater. I'm like, note to self, this is good, And it was fun doing a character, I play a guy from Monolithic Memories, a long defunct company. But then I'm sitting there and I'm doing those, and I'm hundreds of these corporate videos, having a great time. And one day I get this call to do a commercial, and I'm doing, I can't remember the name of it, it's Whistler's mother. No, not Whistler, it's Whistler Painting. He's the guy with the pitchfork and his wife in front of the house.
American Gothic.
American Gothic, thank you very much. American Gothic. And I'm standing there, and we shoot the commercial, and the producer goes, great, fantastic. Okay, listen to you, it's doing my great acting job. So he goes, great, do you do voiceover? And I go, sure, what's that? He goes, well, here, just read this script, And I said, oh, okay. Orchard Supply Hardware, the right item at the right price, right now. That's great, thank you very much. Here's another $250. I'm like, I'm a voice actor. Find your aim and do your things, but I've also been the guy that just stumbles and falls into everything, and everything is in my life has been a gift. As being here has been a gift. Brian came up to me at E3 last year and said, hey, you want to come and do a show? I said, sure, So it's all a gift, and falling into voiceover, it's been the best gift ever.
Aww. And you were so happy that you came up from San Francisco that we put some outside for you.
Yay! I know, did you see that?
They're filming Godzilla.
Yeah,
They're calling it Novelist. No one's
oh, it's the big
Bryan Cranston.
Oh, yeah.
That's the monster right there.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So we are going to have to wrap it up.
Okay, wrap it up.
So that people can get autographs and shake your hand.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.